we had been going all around the island to the little Japanese grocery stores and buying out all their canned food. We had about 25,000 rounds of ammunition.
Wow.
You could have a war of your own.
Yeah. We strapped a .30 caliber machine gun on the roof of the truck facing forward,
Wow.
and we secured one on the back facing aft. So we were going to be spitting fire as we moved.
I have a question about a show I saw on the History Channel. The history of the Tommy gun.
Yeah.
The Tommy gun was developed in the States somewhere, and then the military liked it so much they bought it and used it in World War I.
Mm-hmm.
Did they still use the Tommy gun at all in
Yeah.
World War II?
Yeah,
They did?
yeah. Somehow, as truck driver, I ended up with more and more arms. I had a BAR, a Browning automatic rifle,
Oh.
and a Tommy gun, and the officer's little bit of a
Pistol?
rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Pistol or rifle?
Rifle.
Rifle.
But,
Okay. So anyway, back to the
and
machine
we
guns on
also had a 37 millimeter anti-tank gun.
Yeah.
Where'd you
Which
pick up all this stuff? Was it given to you by officers?
They gave it to us in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And when we went out on the convoy, it was on board ship.
Oh.
And because we had no armed Navy going with us, they set up all of these 37 millimeter anti-tank guns aiming outward
Right
all
on the
around the deck.
Yeah.
And I had to laugh. It's like fighting mosquitoes.
Yeah. So the code, what was the name of the code they broke? The Japanese code?
Oh,
What you said, the
just
G?
Japanese code.
But you said there was a G something?
G2?
G2.
What was that?
That
They
was
broke the code.
Intelligence.
Okay.
And
So was that similar to how the British were able to use radar to, they developed radar to anticipate so they could catch the Germans flying, before they got to England,
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
could tell they were coming.
So, get back to how you got into the Air Corps.
well,
He can't wait till
Oh.
next Tuesday.
we went to bed anticipating an invasion. So the captain said, go to bed early, go to bed in complete combat
Right.
outfit, have your loaded rifle and bayonet right there. And if we need you, we'll call you. Well, we slept until the sun was shining. We thought, oh, and not coming today. The second night, the same way, never showed up. The third night, the same way, nobody showed up. So we figured, they're not coming. So we stacked our rifles and played softball.
Mm-hmm.
And some young boy came up from downtown calling, extra, extra, 10 Japanese capital ships sunk by our naval planes and Air Force planes. And the Japanese fleet turned around and headed back.
Mm.
Did they say where?
No,
Oh, okay.
They didn't, okay.
we didn't have enough to chase them.
No, I mean, they didn't say where they were, where they sunk those ships.
At Midway.
Oh, you didn't say Midway.
Oh,
Oh, that was the Battle
The
of
kid
it
Midway.
was
with
the
the
Battle of Midway.
Battle of Midway.
Okay.
And one of our TWA pilots was on a naval vessel that had seaplanes, and they had drop torpedoes. And his squadron, I think 6 planes, all got shot down, including him.
Hmm.
He said that the planes were ancient. The torpedoes from World War One,
Didn't function.
and one of them was an aerial torpedo.
Mhm.
No, I don't know. One was the wrong kind of a torpedo. He got shot down and he was floating around waiting to be picked up, and he watched the whole Battle of Midway.
Well, if you saw the movie, that was very well depicted.
What was the name of the movie?
Midway.
Midway, okay.
Yeah, and he was one of the people behind the scenes telling how it all happened because he had lived it.
Oh, he was.
And his name was George Gay.
And you worked with him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
flew for TWA.
he was about my seniority, so we were going through our experiences in TWA about the same time.
I wonder how long did it take for him to get rescued? He
Oh, several days, but they picked him up.
okay, so he was floating in the ocean for several days. Wow. Did he have a raft? Or just a life preserver?
I don't know, I think it was just a life
Yeah,
preserver.
wow.
And he
Yes.
didn't know him then, of course.
Right,
He didn't
right.
find his
And he had a gunner, but the gunner was killed.
Hmm.
So
At
then,
that point, once the Japanese turned and
tail.
went back, the U.S. declared Hawaii to be a rear echelon area. Up until that time, it was a forward echelon area. So with the rear echelon area, where they activated men who would want to go to officers candidate school, become a second lieutenant in combat engineers, or pilot training.
Mhm.
And they relaxed the requirements. For a long time, the requirements were you had to have 2 years college to become a pilot in the Air Force. Now they relaxed it. If you were a high school graduate and took a college equivalency test and passed the equivalency test, they would accept you to flight training.
That's because they needed pilots so badly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And
You slipped in under the wire.
it was one man in our outfit who had been married for a couple of years, and it had been the policy, no married men were taken into pilot training. Now that went by the board, and he was able to apply for pilot training. And he and I applied and made it, took the exam, and we sat for about 2.5 months, September through October, November. We didn't get a ship till December.
So you were the only two?
Well, I never knew anybody else around,
Oh,
but I had heard that there were 27 guys from our outfit that had been accepted, so
So-
they were somewhere.
You spent all this time, you were still on the island,
yeah.
Still on the
waiting
island,
to be shipped back to,
and all we had to do was, at 7 o'clock, we had a formation, parade formation,
Mhm.
drill, and then an hour of
PT.
PT,
Yeah,
and then we were free till the next morning.
okay. Didn't they tell you they just wanted you to stay in shape?
They wanted
They
you
wanted to
to
make sure
stay
you
in
stayed in
shape.
shape?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. No loafing around.
yeah, that was no problem.
No. You were all young.